because the more opportunities you put yourself in, the more chances you have of something good coming from that.
Sup, y'all? How we doing today?
The intro finger guns?
The intro finger guns. We're gonna do it at the start and the end.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude. Quick little shout out to somebody who commented, said our podcast is underrated and we deserve love. We really appreciate that.
Shout out Tay Cravon.
Tay Cravon.
And that's how you pronounce it.
Dude, we appreciate that. That's like one of the things that help us keep going. It's like, obviously, we set the goal that we're going to keep doing this. And I think we've been sticking well to that. We obviously want to get better and keep moving forward. But yeah, that's a nice motivation for us.
Yeah. Something to the jerk that said our weather talk was lame. It's still cold.
It's still freezing in here. That's the thing. It's just cold in here.
I just want to, we're trying to small talk. We're just trying to explain why
we're shivering.
Sometimes we're shivering and talking fast because
we're freezing.
Freezing.
Oh, man. Oh, dude. But we'll just jump right in. Don't want to have too much small talk.
Yeah.
What's something you did this week to pursue one of those goals that we had set earlier?
So I actually had a gig this week.
Nice.
I was able to go down on a Saturday when I had some free time to this little CD store down in Del Mar.
Sweet.
I got to take a couple headshots, and yeah, it was pretty simple, but it was nice to. I haven't had a gig since being on paternity leave.
Yeah.
So it was nice to finally get something rolling. That wasn't just wasn't me just doing something for fun. It was actually paid work.
That's awesome. That is something to. I think that's like the thing that like gets me itching to be better and do more. It's like I did a job. Like I got paid.
Yeah.
Wasn't a ton of money. It's not going to support my family, but it's money.
Yeah. It goes into eventually getting to that point.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do small jobs to get big jobs.
Yeah.
Get better. I think for me too this week is I shot a concert. I shot a band called Bridget Calls Me Baby. They played at Dogfish, and I was able to shoot that. I did mostly photos, and I got connected with their bass player and sent him the photos, told him I'd send him a recap video once I was done editing. I took the video personally just for me. I was paid to do the photos by Dogfish, which was awesome. That's a cool portfolio piece, and especially if this band blows up, be like, hey, I did that. I shot this band. I think that'd be a really cool thing. So, yeah, I think that, and it's another piece in for building my website, being like, hey, I've now shot 2 shows, and I proved that I can do that job. So hopefully I can push into get another job that's paid more, a bigger concert venue or anything like that. So,
yeah, that's awesome. And now, like you said, you have 2 concerts under your belt now.
Yeah.
And I know that's something that you genuinely enjoy doing too. So
yeah, I would say I think that was like a random thing that I found out when we had done that video work for the fair.
Yeah.
And we were kind of like, the ability to go shoot a concert was there. We obviously didn't make any money for the first one, but when I shot that Lainey Wilson concert, I'd never been more hyped in my life. Like, it was so cool, like capturing these images and like watching. Obviously, you're watching the performance as well. So like, who doesn't love live music? But like, I get to create something while the artist is showing what they created. I don't know if that's like sentimental or what it is. It was really cool.
Also funny, your first ever concert was like probably like an A-list musician.
Yeah.
Or close to it.
Yeah.
She just won like best record of the year, I think.
Yeah.
That's the first concert you shot?
Ever shot. And
every concert from now on is never gonna be looked at.
I know. That band needs to blow up that I just did, just so it feels a little better. Even myself out a little. I had a question for you that I actually wrote down. Kind of similar to with the goals thing. With our goals that we did set, what is something that seems to be in the way, and what's keeping you motivated to keep pushing through whatever's in the way right now?
Well, I think that's a loaded question.
Yeah. It's like it's up for the whole discussion.
I know. I feel like I have multiple answers.
Yeah.
But the first one, that's like I've mentioned a few times though, which I feel like is everyone's like a hindrance for everybody trying to pursue something on the side or something that's not their career yet. I guess it'd be time. Mm-hmm. That's just been a tough one, and it's beyond just being a dad.
Yeah.
It's when you don't have the financial stability to go all in on something. Mm-hmm. It's just so hard to give it the attention it needs to grow. And now that we're in our late 20s, just you don't have the ability to just up and go with the way that our lives are.
Yeah.
Being dads and being in relationships, you can't just go to California for 4 or 5 days and do some passion project that leads to something bigger, stuff like that.
Yeah, like being able to take that time and just like create something because you want to create it.
Because I think where I'm at right now, the biggest hindrance for me obviously is time, but because of not having time, I'm not able to build my portfolio in a way that I want it to be.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me to put myself out there to get jobs with brands or people that are aligned with what my end goal is, or not end goal, I guess, but my larger goal.
Yeah, like, I mean, also what like excites you to shoot.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I really want to get into doing brand video and photo shoots, like for brands that I like doing them for outdoor and surf brands like that, going off on like destination shoots.
Yeah.
And to even get to that point, you have to obviously have proof of that, which I could be better about doing like stage product stuff. But a lot of these shoots just aren't going to look the way that I envision them at the beach in Delaware.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I have all these ideas, and that's not the only thing I want to do, but that's just an example of things I want to do that require specific landscapes.
Yeah, and it's hard too. Is like right now, talk about the weather one more time, but like it's cold and windy out right now. So like what Delaware has to offer that looks pleasing to the eye, it is miserable to like be on the coast and like just get pounded by wind and like you're freezing.
It's a wet cold.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a hard thing to. We talked about being cold, how like miserable it is sometimes, but like with Delaware, it's not like, well, I feel like when it's the best is like obviously when it's warm and we're outside and there's like you can appreciate the beauty because you're not miserable.
Yeah, we don't like cold.
Yeah,
We both love Florida.
one day.
Yeah.
One day.
So if that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah.
Like I love like overbearing heat.
Yeah, I want it to be humid.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get off the word.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's lame.
I know. I just wanted to throw it out again.
But yeah, I guess basically for me it's time, and because of time I'm not able to get to the point where I know I could be at this point. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where I even talked about this the other day. Coincidentally, I was just talking about how like something that used to take me a week now takes you probably 3 months if I really want to do it, because there's so much more planning into it, and I can't go off for a week straight. Like it's I have like increments of time, and so that limits you on projects you can do, and that's just the way it is. You just have to plan more. That's all it is. It's just more planning.
The more planning, and then sometimes it's hard too with like creative stuff. I know that like having that like a 3 day span, like you said a week, but like having that time and like you're going, and it's a little easier to be creative, to think of some more shots, to like do that instead of having to plan it. It's like sometimes when you're at a location, like there's a shot that you would have never thought of until you got there. And it's like when you're limited on time, you like show up, it's like, I don't have that ability to like have my creative be sparked. I feel like sometimes
like we actually tried to start this channel a year ago.
We did. Yeah.
And we went and filmed the video. And because we didn't have the time,
Yeah.
it turned out pretty bad.
Yeah.
We also didn't know what we know now too with cameras and stuff like that. But the point is though, is it was very rushed.
Yeah.
And the final product was visibly bad because of that. So I thought that was funny. It's just another example of just how, I don't know, you really need to plan it. There's so many factors.
Yeah. I get it. I think for me, I think one of the biggest things in my way right now is myself.
Yeah.
We talk about like wanting to be the best we can, and that's probably me to a fault. It's like I want what I put out to be my best work, and obviously I get better every single time I do something. But like there's a point where we just like, I have to just dive in. I have to like take that leap of faith. I need to build my website, like, and all the photos on it, I'm not going to be happy with. And I know that, but I just, I just need to do it.
You mean if you're not great at something right away, you don't feel like doing it sometimes?
Yeah. I think like I don't want to say get discouraged.
Yeah.
It's not like the best thing. It's because I'm obviously very motivated right now to create a different kind of lifestyle for myself, like create a different lifestyle for my family. Because I don't know if everyone knows, I work at Dogfish right now, and I serve and I'll can beer every once in a while. And I love what I do. I love working in like at a brewery. It's a ton of fun. But like the way my schedule is I work mostly nights. My wife works days. Mondays is our day off. So obviously we're doing this, but I want to change my life so the fact that like when I go to work or I go do a shoot, it's like, hey, this is my day, and I got paid. Like say a wedding or anything, like the things that I want to accomplish. Like I made a paycheck in a day. Obviously, there's going to be back end work, but my time would be a lot more open. Like I would be able to be home at night with my family. Create a little more of like that dynamic that I think that my wife and I really want. But then, yeah, I'm in my own way. I get discouraged or I don't think I'm good enough. But we were talking earlier, like when we were talking about those photos I shot at the concert, like I was pretty proud of those.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm getting to a spot where I'm confident, and I'll tell people, I'm like, yeah, I'm a photographer, not a professional, but like I'm a photographer. I don't know.
So you're saying once you get to a point where you can go full time with your craft, you won't have to worry about your serving job because it'll give you more time.
Yeah, more time. But yeah, it's
trying to tie it in.
I know. I think it's just funny too. It's like I want this whole big dream and I want to pursue it. And for some reason, I'm getting caught up on something so small and little that's in front of me. I'm like, this is one small problem. Why don't I just do it? Like, do the damn thing, and it'll all get moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think shooting that show, I think that's like one thing that like it's like adds more motivation to keep me moving forward.
Yeah.
So
I would definitely agree to that, where I get in these ruts where I just feel like I haven't done anything creative, or I'm not finding the time to do something that is something I've been wanting to do. But then just going out for a walk or taking pictures or doing something small, like even doing this headshots the other day, was like, all right, I can do this. I can keep doing it.
yeah,
It's like that little bit of, I don't know if it's validation or it's just once you actually get out there and do something, it kind of like resets into your brain.
yeah. Well, I will say validation, I think, is like a big thing. It's like I am doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it small, but I have to just keep doing it small. Like keep knocking away at small projects, like I have a maternity shoot plan. Like it's going to be a small shoot, but like that's, again, more reps and building a bigger portfolio, more couples, like show people that like I'm able to capture the moments that they want to pay people to capture. And I know that like leads to weddings and things like that. Like I just need to find a wedding to shoot.
Yeah.
I say it's like no small task, but once I shoot one, I have proof of my product and I can keep pushing and telling people like I can do this. And then I'm proving to myself that I can do it.
That's what's tough with the wedding industry is once you put yourself out there that you're available, it's probably because you put yourself out there a year before the weddings are happening.
Yeah, because people plan those so long.
So you have to wait for your first wedding. So you buy your camera, you're hype.
Yeah.
I'll do a wedding in a year.
Yeah.
So like, when are you supposed to do that entire year?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where you just have to deal with the punches, find like some other ways to like make it work until then, and then just have like, that's an example of you have to be patient sometimes.
Yeah. Or if doing, like we said, small jobs, I think I had talked to somebody and they were like, yeah, I might need a second shooter. And I'm like, please, like, I'll do that. Obviously, I'm not going to make a ton of money, but then if they allow me to use those photos to show that I was able to capture this, like that small job can lead in because I have proof that I can shoot a wedding that like, obviously I wasn't the main shooter. Do I tell everybody that?
No.
Probably not. Like I'll say, hey, I shot this wedding. And so like, if they like what they see, then I can start doing more. And again, that builds my portfolio and builds me up. So
Yeah.
yeah. Do you think there's something else that's in your way, like in your way right now with a goal?
Yeah, I think sometimes I set my aspirations too high.
Unrealistic standards for yourself?
And I don't believe in that word.
Ah,
But I believe in unrealistic standards. But I think sometimes I expect the time frame to be
different.
shorter, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like using that term unrealistic because there's no such thing.
Yeah.
Because if someone else is doing it, they start somewhere.
Yeah, everyone started from nothing.
But also, I did watch this video. That was my point.
Dive in.
Yeah, I watched this video it was like on Reels or something. It was Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And he was doing an interview, and someone asked him about how his life has changed and how it feels looking back on smaller gigs and to where he's at now. He's basically an A-lister now.
Yeah.
As an actor, and he basically talked about how he doesn't like how some people get praised for, or wants people to know that you're not going to get to this point purely on talent. Mm-hmm. And talking about how he made it to where he is because of luck. And basically the whole takeaway from his interview was no matter what you're doing, do your best, because everything you do, you never know where the opportunity is going to lead you. Mm-hmm. So I guess my point with that is just my takeaway was to, even if you're doing small jobs, like how we're doing sometimes, if you just keep grinding, I hate the word grind, but
yeah,
and this is just, it makes sense for this phrase, but if you just keep grinding it out, good things will come from it. But you can't but also takeaway was you can't take your foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
So it's like, because the more opportunities you put yourself in, the more chances you have of something good coming from that.
Yeah, and you never know what kind of connection you build from any sort of job.
Exactly. So I know it's obviously hard because we're not 20 years old singles, so we can't just say yes to every single thing that pops up. Mm-hmm. But even I talked about this before too. Like even as simple as waking up at sunrise and going to the beach to film, putting yourself in scenarios that you want to be. Like I said about 20 work with surf brands. I met this guy that's sponsored by Salty Crew.
Yeah.
And now I have his contact info, and I've filmed him twice now. So
that would never happen if you didn't put yourself in the situation.
And something might come from that, something might not later on down the road. But the point is that's just one small example of opportunity coming from putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and if he ever comes back and he has friends who are a little high up the ladder than he is and the position he is, he literally is like, yeah, this is my guy, and he can help you too. And
I mean, literally, there was a few weeks ago, he asked me to meet him. Mm-hmm. I wasn't able to go, just the way life is, and some other person ended up filming him getting barreled, and Surfer Magazine, which has a few million followers, reposted the clip.
Yeah,
and I was pretty upset about that. Not gonna lie. But also that now, because I wasn't there, that guy got opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's also another example of luck too. It's it's not always, it has to be open for vacancy. So it's like a CEO can't become the next CEO until the current CEO is no longer there.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those situations where luck of the draw. And
I think that relates to what you're saying with you can't let your foot off the gas. You have to keep putting yourself in those situations because of that luck or the vacancy of someone not being there. Because you weren't there, someone else got it. And that just shows that we just need to keep sit on the gas.
Big old dent.
Nice.
Shout out 505.
That's probably my biggest listen right now, actually, too.
Really?
Yeah. I think a lot of the things that they've had to say is kind of help push me to be a little more creative or to want to be growing in this industry, just listening to people who've done it before.
Yeah, so I totally agree. I think I would say that they were a part of the reason what pushed us to start this.
Yeah.
Because I know we were kind of watching their podcast before we started this podcast.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it too is, I think, I'm just thinking about some of the conversations that they have. It's I'm not even, some topics don't even relate to what I want to do in my life, but those tidbits of knowledge that people just spit out randomly because they're in deep conversations. They're talking about, a variety of things. There's what is it, Short Stash, I think was the
Yeah.
one. He was like talking about this like big excursion trip and that like they took and what his passion project was. And I don't think that's ever going to be something I want to do. Like the way his trip was, but like listening to him like talk and like throw out bits of knowledge from what he learned from that, I think was like what became valuable to me. So
Yeah, they're good at finding a way to make something non-applicable applicable.
yeah.
Like there's always something you can take away from an episode.
Yeah. Hoping that like that's something that people can do for us too.
Yeah, exactly. That's something like we knew from the start a lot of our content would be related to us being dads.
Yeah.
But we don't want that to be necessarily the only takeaway you get from this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
I
don't
think
need to be
Oh,
you don't need to be a dad to watch Lebanon.
yeah. And I think that's like something that we're trying to make evident too is shifting that like we want to bring you along with like what our goals are. And like, we'll talk about like the fact that we're trying to pursue this creative industry. But I think a lot of the things that we have to say with setting goals and continuing is like applicable to everyone who's like trying to pursue a dream. It doesn't have to be what our dream is, but
Yeah.
I think there's things that we're learning along the way that like are helpful. So
No, I agree. Cool. Prioritizing time, prioritizing the things you have to do to make stuff happen.
yeah.
While still having some kind of balance in your life.
Oh, balance. We're bringing back.
Oh no. Balance of opposites.
Shout out. Oh gosh, we're both by Roka.
Yep.
I'll stop saying the word shout out. I'm saying it a lot later.
Yeah, but my point
Sorry.
my point being is, you can take something away from almost anything. It's just a matter of perspective.
Perspective's huge. I think like, yeah, putting yourself in situations that you can grow. Shows like why Joe Rogan's so popular is like half of his topics don't make sense, but you're getting something out of two people having a conversation, even if you don't agree with whatever they're talking about or anything. Like, there's always
I love watching people just chill in the smoke pot.
yeah. Oh man, the amount of memes that have come out of that too are incredible.
I know.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen already a ton of growth since we've started,
Yeah.
just in the podcast itself and in our pursuit of these creative careers.
Yeah.
Like so much has already changed since the first episode.
Yeah. And then, like we keep talking about what we want our end goal to be with this, like every week when we're not on camera, obviously it's like, and I think we're continuously growing. I think like we've added so much from the first episode and we're not even that far in. We're in February. And
Yeah.
like we wanted to have this goal of making sure that we filmed an episode every week. And I think we're getting better and better, but
Definitely.
like, I don't even know if we scratched the surface of what we really want to do yet. Again, like the finding time and then like me growing and editing, I know that's going to take a lot of that off your plate too. So there's more opportunity for like cool things to happen with the podcast because both of us will be doing a little more.
Yeah, I think every week we're just getting a little bit better at our workflow. Like whether it's setups, like even setting up this set is easier now because we have things, we have places we want stuff for now. We'll probably change it eventually, but for now it's easier. Editing's smoother right now. And then, yeah, just hopefully the goal is to continue to ease the workflow process so we can enhance
it, get a little better, and then continue to, we had talked about earlier with our goals, circle back to that. It's just like, we want to do long form content too. And like, we want to be able to do a little more. And if this gets, with a better workflow, then it frees up more creative stuff for us to do.
Yeah, I think the goal is, I think by the end of 2024, I'm not going to say it will look unrecognizable, but I think
It will be vastly different than how we started.
I think I don't want it to feel different. It'll just be a much more, hopefully, even more engaging show than it is now.
Yeah. That's
So I definitely think that'll help too once we can start getting more guests.
yeah.
Because I really think doing the episode with Kyle was a lot of fun.
It was a ton of fun for us. Like, I think that was probably one of my most enjoyable shows that we filmed. Just,
The conversation is just,
it's so quick because you have someone else chiming in, and that's a lot of podcasts. You see that the ones that are higher energy tend to have multiple people. And it creates more dialogue and again gives more tidbits of information that people can walk away with. I think like there's a lot of things that Kyle had said that I would have never thought of
Exactly.
So, and his perspective is very different from ours, but like what he said, I think I can take and grow with. So,
Yeah, 100%. I think he took stuff away from us as well.
yep.
So
Cool time.
that's why I definitely think we're definitely going to have more guests in the future once we can get our process and stuff.
Get it a little more dialed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start having some people that really shed some light on some good topics.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. I think it was a good one.
Yeah.
Nice little conversation. Thanks for following along so far. We appreciate it. It's funny seeing like people around who like will say stuff to us. Like, I mean, I've said it before, like
Knife check.
the knife check. Yeah. Just like anything, like that small stuff. It's so funny. It's just like, you know, we didn't know how it would be received, and we really appreciate the support so far. We were talking about like our views, like from starting something from scratch and not having anything, like consistently hitting a marker every single week it's been cool and motivating. So thanks for following along with our journey. We'll keep it moving.
Yeah.
So see you in the next one.